I'm live, hey guys. Okay, I haven't done one of these live videos in like 4 years, so I have to figure out how this works. So there are 8 of you guys watching. 5 thumbs up already. Okay, cool, cool. Okay, so I just thought this would be like a really chill Q&A if anybody wants to ask any questions. It can be literally about anything. I just took the entire week as a vacation week. And so I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll come back and on Sunday I'll just like do something live. So drop any questions you might have. How am I? I am feeling pretty freaking fantastic now that New York is actually bright and sunny out. It has been raining this entire week, and so I can't actually believe that this was my vacation week. Yeah. Ooh, everybody's early. Kanika Sharma says, hey. Farhan Gaming Cave says hello, and then you put those cute little heart emojis. Oh, Kanika, I am doing very well. Thank you for asking. If any of you guys have any questions, just drop them in the chat. Any super chat questions I'll of course get to. All the others I'll just keep trying to answer as they come. So Daniel asks, do you have any ideas for an easy way to start a YouTube channel as a student interested in entrepreneurship? Yeah, so I guess the first thing I would say is just try something, like just set up a camera and start filming. That's kind of what I did when I was at Harvard. Basically, so you guys don't know this, but actually I had this French class that made us do this one YouTube video for a class project. Oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed by all the comments. It's like going crazy. I love this. But yeah, they had us do this video project for our French class, and that was the first time I had ever uploaded anything to YouTube. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I know how to do this. And so then once I knew how to do that, I basically just took my camera back to my room and I'm like, I'll film a normal YouTube video and upload it. And so that's how I got my start. It wasn't anything crazy. I did like this sassy makeup tutorial video, which isn't on YouTube anymore because I swore a lot. But yeah, you don't need to know what you're doing to get started. You just kind of have to make something. Yeah. And look at me now. Hey. All right, let's see. Any other questions? How do we as humans avoid getting dumber? I feel like quarantine has made me lose brain cells and I don't know how to recover them. Thank you, Mateo, for that question. The answer is read books, read everything. In case you guys are interested in what I'm reading right now, is this like backwards for you guys? I can't tell. It says, This Changes Everything, Capitalism versus the Climate. It's been a really great book so far. And then this book, And Then There Were None. I just started reading this after finishing that other book called Know My Name. This is an Agatha Christie novel, and it's about all these people who go to a mansion on an island, and all of them has been like accused of committing some kind of murder, and slowly but surely, all of them keep dying. So I'm very interested in figuring out how this ends. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? Archit Sarogi asks, what was your major at Harvard? That was economics. Archit also asks, how tough is Harvard? I'd say it's harder to get in, but once you're in, it's actually really difficult as well. It was a pretty big work hard, play hard mentality. Yeah, so I would basically 5-6 days a week be reading, studying, what have you, going to lectures, and then maybe like once or twice a week I would go out and get very, very drunk. Edwoa Darko says, is there going to be a book club? Do you guys want a book club? I read a lot, so I would love if you guys actually like discussing books. That could be a very fun thing to do live. If we like all sat down and once a month talked about a book together, I'd be into that. Saval Ertekin says, I was wondering if I could still in touch with you, like get in touch with you to get advice from me. If you're asking about Ivy League advice, like how to get into Harvard and how to get into all those schools, I actually created an online course for how to get into them called Ivy Advice. And you can find that basically just by going to any of my education related videos and like going into the description, and there I usually like give you guys an example of one of my free Harvard essays, one that got me into the school. And then from there, basically you'll get a whole bunch of emails from me where I try to sell you the course. The course is actually really great, so you guys should take it. Oh man, now you guys are all up on the books questions. All right. Oh, it just I like all these people usually saying intellectual elites. Okay, cool. You guys like the idea of a book club. Waterwise, most known alumni in your graduating class. I don't know, maybe. Well, I have 190,000 followers, so that's pretty known. But there's also Sierra Katao. She is like a comedian. She's very great. So maybe she's really well known. I'm trying to think if you guys know anyone else from the Harvard class of 2016. Yeah, I don't know. Ron Vincent Alcon asks, what's your greatest life advice for college students? Oh man, I love that question. So I kind of think the craziest thing is that they never made us write down what life is all about when we're going through school and what we really, really want out of it. We're kind of just like thrown into life and just told like, oh, follow this path that you've been put on, go to school, go to work, do the blah, 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 blah. But for the first time after graduating from Harvard and then getting out into the real world, I did entrepreneurship, so I didn't have anybody to give me a syllabus anymore. And so I kind of had to write my own. And when I did that, that was really like what made me, how do I say this? It's what made me actually figure out what was important to me. So if I had to say anything to graduating college students, it would be sit down and figure out what you actually want. And not just like what people have been putting into your heads, but be like, what do I think the purpose of life is? And from there, what do I think I should do based on that? And Jordan Peterson actually has a really good thing that he says about this too, which is like sit down and write out the greatest things you could imagine for your life. And then also write down the worst things you can imagine for your life. And like write down what happens if you don't take the steps to get like the best things in your life. I hope I'm making sense. Life is so intimidating. It's so much pressure. There's so much adrenaline. I don't know if have you guys seen that new Bo Burnham special, by the way? This is kind of what it feels like. Like, I don't know, there's a ton of pressure, even though I'm just right here in my room talking to you. If you haven't seen the special, go and watch it. I actually think it's a masterpiece of our generation. So, okay, next questions. Rowan Toolsy asks, do you do any sports? I do all the sports. I boulder 3 times a week. I go to soccer once a week. I actually have a soccer league that I'm going to tonight. We win. We're a very good soccer team. I also play tennis, and I lift for my legs 3 times a week, or I try to. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I played rugby when I was at Harvard for a semester. I got pretty banged up, actually. That's why I stopped playing. And I played soccer for 10 years growing up, and I played every sport under the sun. I ran track and field for 4 years as a sprinter, doing the 100 and 200 and 4x1 and 4x2. So yeah, I do sports. Would 10 out of 10 recommend. All right, let's see. Christopher O'Brien, opinion of I go to school in Cambridge versus I go to Harvard. Oh my God. Ugh. Doesn't it make you gag a little bit when somebody says, I went to school in Cambridge? Okay, this is the thing actually though, is you can't just tell people that you went to Harvard, because if it just comes up in conversation and you're like, I went to Harvard, people are like, nobody asked. So you can't just bring it up. You have to ask for people to say, you usually say, oh, then I lived in Boston for a while, and then blah, blah, blah. And people ask you like, well, why were you in Boston? And you're like, well, I went to school there. And then they have to ask you, what school did you go to? And that's when you just say Harvard, right? But if you say it too early, it kind of makes you look like a jerk off. And if when you're asked the question and you don't say where you went to school, then that also makes you look like a jerk off. And so it's like this weird having to toe the line between what you can and cannot say. Also, isn't this the cutest like mug? It's called Meet Me at the Bar, because all of 2020 I didn't drink at all and I just worked out. And so my friend got me this as a Christmas present. And it's so good that I'm literally spilling it down my face. I can't believe there are 113 of you guys here. This is a party. All right. Joe Matthew, do you love your job? Does anybody love their job? No, I love humans. I don't love working. I've gotten on that whole I do not dream of labor movement, right? Slowly becoming more of a leftist. The more you guys left me alone in quarantine, the more I went down my rabbit holes. Ek11 Jot Gill says, what are you doing now? I'm talking to you guys. I'm having a good time. Having a good time. No, but if you meant that, like, what am I doing is for work and stuff, basically I do digital marketing for this one independent contractor. He just gets a whole bunch of extra work, and so I end up doing like Facebook and Google ads for him to try and get people to go to gyms. And so I actually don't feel that bad as a marketer, like trying to market people into going to gyms. I'm like, okay, I'm doing an all right thing. And then I do YouTube the other part of the time. And I also have this fun thing coming up with this company called Rise Education, where I'm about to be facilitating these podcasts between high school students and college students to I don't know, tell them about all the things going on in college that high school students might not know. So even though I don't do all the educational stuff always on this channel, I got it going on somewhere. Also, I've been thinking of getting involved in a little more like modeling in New York because it's really fun. I found this one studio in New York where you can do like modeling for hobbyists, right? So some of these guys have no idea what they're doing with the camera. They just have point and shoots. But other guys, they like really know what they're doing and they get really creative. And I went and like the guy offered me a job back in December, but I never took it. So I was thinking of reaching out to him again. And it's like, I don't know. I'm not that tall, so I can't do real modeling. But like, what a nice way to get paid is just stand there and make some faces. Dirty Niab says, do you have any travel adventures coming up? Not at the moment, actually. But my friend in Germany, she does a lot of sailing, and her boyfriend are maybe going to go sailing in not August, but autumn. And yeah, they invited me to come along. I've gone sailing with them before in Croatia, which is really fun. And they're the kind of people who don't dock. So we're like out on the sea for a week straight and don't touch land. It's nuts. Oh man, so many guys got questions. Prada Manj asks, how do you feel about New York? Freaking love it. I think the city's awesome. I think the city feels very alive. It's very colorful, you know? I think the one thing that sucks about New York is how transient it is. So everybody's in and then everybody's out. And I haven't really found it easy to find like deep connections here. And I'm wondering if that's just a sign of our generation or if that's a sign of New York or what that is. But it's like everybody's got stuff going on, and it's like quarantine just ended. How do you have that much going on? But other than that, I think people are super open and friendly here because everyone's from everywhere. And so everyone needs friends just the same. So I like it a little bit more than Paris and Munich. Sorry, I like watched 10 people leave the chat. All right, let's see. Oh, someone asked, "What's my height?" Peta Singh. I am 5'6". I'm very, very average height by American standards. Julie, what would you say is your greatest passion in life? This is gonna sound cliche, but I think love is my greatest passion in life. I think there's nothing else really worth living for. Um, but other than that, I would say I live to learn, I live to move my body, and I live to create art. I kind of consider myself like the trifecta of like an athlete, artist, academic. Oh my goodness, we've been going for 10 minutes. What a great talk. It's like as if we're at dinner at the dining hall table together, just chatting away. Zafira Hamka says thoughts on consulting. Don't you want to try the NPP firms like McKinsey? Not I'm not really interested in that, to be honest. I don't really like working for other people, if I can be completely frank. And I don't really like working at places where you have to go in somewhere. I do I do most of my work from this bed actually. I don't know how you guys are about that, but I do not like working at a desk because this position is just it's very uncomfortable. And I got through high school working on my couch. I got through Harvard working on my bed, and so now, yeah, I just do the same exact thing. Okay. Oh, someone says they want to get into runway modeling. That's their dream job. That's great. One of my guy friends was a professional model in New York City from like the time he was 16, and he used to do runway all the time for these big, big places. Um, he's beautiful. You know what's actually fascinating? Can we talk about this for a second? Is how the modeling industry is it's completely changing, right? So like the you know how the Victoria's Secret fashion show, like they just don't they like paused it, right? Because they're going through like a brand crisis. It's kind of fascinating. It's like America's really changing what we are saying beauty standards should be. We're saying no, like we're demanding that you show us representation of everyone, everything, all sizes, all faces, all body types. And I think that's really freaking cool that the world's waking up to that. So that's been something I've been thinking about a lot lately. And I've been watching a lot of like videos about people getting plastic surgery lately. I don't know if anyone's gone down that weird rabbit hole. It's fascinating. Fascinating. All right. Maritza Perez, thank you for your question. You said, how do you cope with environments or people who are not stimulating? I try to remove myself from those situations and find new situations. Honestly, I think if anything in your life isn't really working that well, it's up to you to write down what isn't going well, why you think it isn't going well, what you think you could do to change, and then experiment with that, right? So like if you're like, okay, I could change my environment, try changing it, see if that changed your feelings about it. And that's actually my method for anything in life, right? So I think about it when I'm not gaining muscle weight. I write down, okay, why do I think it is that I'm not going into the gym 3 times a week like I said I would? I'm like, well, maybe it's because my workout has gotten very boring. Okay, what do I think I could do to make it more exciting? And so I actually have this one thing I do for workouts. I don't know if you guys have heard about variable rewards, So that's what they have to like keep us addicted to like Facebook, or like variable rewards. So sometimes we have really interesting things pop up on our newsfeed. Sometimes we have boring things. So I do the same thing with my workouts, right? Where after I work out, I have 100 different Post-it notes in a paper bag, and I like I can't see any of them, and I go in and I reach to grab from it, and if I get a pink Post-it note, I get zero money to spend on like clothes and shopping, and if I get a blue Post-it note, then I get to go spend $50 on shopping. So that's how I train myself into working out, is I just give myself variable rewards after the fact. Okay. You guys ask a lot of questions. Ryan Gingden asks, am I in New York? Yes, I am. All right. This chat, it just like jumps. Okay. Predamunge asks, how do you focus on work while sitting on a couch? I'd sleep in a second. That's the fun part of it, is if you get too tired, you just sleep, and like logistically that's perfect. You know, you just sleep, you get your 20 minutes of sleep in, and then you start working again. Rowan Toolsy, are you single? I am very single and very, very ready to mingle. Actually, I went to speed dating for the first time 2 days ago. It was exactly how you would expect it would be. Right? It was just like in TV and the movies, is they sit you down in this row. I was like squished up next to the other girls, and these guys were just like being filtered in front of us. We had maybe like 15, 20 guys. The girls were awesome. I clicked with one of them. She's my friend now. The guys, I wasn't feeling. So still very single. Cream by Lars, can you say the N-word in here? Definitely would prefer not. Also would prefer no B words. Also would prefer no F words. Only the word only the words that are like nonsensical, like shit and damn and hot damn and hot shit. Okay. Malio Ketsi, ever been to South Africa? No, I haven't, but my good friend Taylor, she's South African, and so I don't know, maybe she'll like incept the idea into my head. Okay. This person, I am not gonna say this guy's name. It's like one of those names where like when you say it out loud, it's a dirty thing. So if you write something, Mr. Humpy, you know that I'm not going to respond to it. Okay. Julie, do you have advice for people who have too many interests and find it hard to focus on one thing? Asking for a friend. Yeah, I would say you should really whittle it down and try to ask yourself, honestly, what brings you the most joy, and make that your primary focus. And then the other things can be like secondary, and you can like kind of put them around in a fun way. But really, I found that like focus is one of those things. If you don't do it, you can find yourself just drifting throughout life, right? And so I've noticed the only time you ever succeed at anything really is when you put your head down to the grindstone and just pay attention to what you're doing. That's when my YouTube channel grows. That's when I like got through school. You know, whatever you focus on, that's what grows. So yeah. Whittle it down. That's my advice. I like how Mr. X was like, hot damn, from the hot dams earlier. Okay. Libby! Olivia Cleveland. That's my best friend. She said, would you ever move anywhere else? I don't know, Libby, would you? So, yeah, I would. I kind of want to live like a nomadic lifestyle and meet a guy. I would love to meet a guy who would like love to travel around the world to me, and we could just like hop from Thailand to India to, I don't know, where do people go? I would just go everywhere. I want to go everywhere. Not enough years in a life, right? It's kind of funny knowing that my actual friends are watching this. Oh my god, I wish it were just strangers. Kafita says, "Do you play instruments?" I used to play the saxophone for like 3 or 4 years, and I was a 4th grade cellist as well. But the instrument I'd really like to get good at playing is my voice. I've always wanted to be a good singer, but I haven't really spent too much time developing my voice. I took a few singing lessons, and I think it's so tragic that kids growing up feeling like singing is one of those things that's just talent based, because I really, really, really think that singing is like a muscle and you can develop it and you can get better. And I just think it's so screwy that we just tell people they're bad singers and they never work on it and they lose their dreams. Speaking for a friend. All right. Abdul Shakur Yaro says, "What advice can you give from your breakup? Thanks." So the best piece of advice, I have 2 pieces of advice I would give for my breakup. The first would be that when something's going wrong in your relationship, you should look back at yourself and say, "How can I have better conflict resolution skills?" And then after that, after you get as good as you can at conflict resolution, you should also say, "What are my boundaries? What can I not accept? And at what point do I need to walk away?" Right? You tell someone what's up, and then if they can't meet that, then you walk away. And you have to get really good at letting go and not being attached, which is the hardest part for me because I find it very easy to love people. Okay. I don't find it easy to love people from a distance, though. I want to be right up next to them like a nice little barnacle. Okay. Am I a Marvel fan or a DC fan? I think this will give you the answer you need to know. Really, I'm just a Gal Gadot fan. Oh, someone wants me to do a song cover? Oh man, y'all are crazy. You think I know how to sing? I do, but only when I'm alone in in my room. All right, let's see. Do any of you guys have any questions? And also just like feel free to repost them too if I haven't answered them, because I can't see all of them because this thing goes wild and just goes off the hook. So okay. Uh, Mayan Kakar asks, which philosopher made you think or inspired you the most? Probably the one who created the Philosopher's Stone. No, I'm just kidding. Um, right now, Alan Watts, but only because I haven't read too many philosophy books, which is kind of wild for somebody who's like talks about her philosophy a lot. I should read more. Um, I read that one book called Sophie's World, which is a general introduction to anybody who hasn't read philosophy. Would recommend highly. It's very good. It's like as if, how do I describe this? So it's kind of written like a story, but each part of her story takes place in the way the each philosopher that she describes views would describe that story. That made no sense. That made no sense. Google it. Tiffany Huang asked, "What are you reading currently?" I think she might have missed the first part of this, so I'll just show you guys again. I'm reading This Changes Everything, Capitalism versus the Climate, and then There Were None. And I just finished that book, Know My Name. Would definitely read Know My Name. What was the book again? All right, take a screenshot. Take a screenshot. It's only going to be up for 2 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I lied. I gave you guys extra time. Okay. Let's see. Hello. Do you have any advice for incoming freshmen going to college? Be nice. Don't burn any bridges. And I guess this is my advice for everything in life, but don't think that your shit don't stink, right? Like, just like I think a lot of people wanna be so cool that they try and fit in with whoever seems the coolest, but really the coolest thing you could do is just be, like, kind, compassionate, and always open and eager and ready to learn. Um, and the people who are standoffish and make you feel like you need to exclude others in order to be with them, at some point they're gonna kind of make you feel excluded. So I would say like stay around the people who just give like love and attention and very welcome, open vibes. Stay near those people. And the people who make it feel like you have to fight for their attention or you can't be friends with somebody else if you want to be their friends, I would say just stay away from those people. I realized that through a lot of like Harvard's final clubs. Um, wasn't a good vibe. Wasn't a good vibe. So yeah. Okay, let's see. Were you popular in college? I think so, but maybe not. I was like, did we have popular kids? Maybe I wasn't popular. I would know the answer to that if I were popular. What are your thoughts about IQ and what's your number? I have is what Herman Kleinubing asks. I don't have too many thoughts on IQ. Like, can it change throughout the day, right? If you're really hungry and don't answer a question properly, um, and I don't know my IQ. I've never taken a test. Does anybody know where you go to take the test? That would be fun. I would take it. I'll take it right now. Okay, N asks, what type of music do you enjoy? I enjoy mainstream music throughout like pretty much any decade after the 50s. So like let's see, the Beatles, obviously. I love everything from actually their very like early stuff that's super repetitive, like to like their weird like a day in the life kind of music. Now I'm like playing Beatles songs in my head. You guys have got me going. I also love like "Come on, Eileen, oh I swear, at this moment you mean everything." This is a great song. I also started writing some of my own song lyrics. I kind of have this dream to write a song that ends up on the top 100 pop songs. And so I've been writing all this stuff, but I don't know how to produce music yet. So I was thinking, I don't know if you guys would be interested in that, of having a video where I go through the whole process of writing a song to creating it to like getting it out and then showing what it's like and maybe making like a music video for that song if you'd be interested. Someone says, "Sing!" Okay, okay. You guys want to hear some lyrics I created? Maybe not. Oh god, it's embarrassing. I have this one song that goes like, "If I spend one more second sitting, I'll be running my whole life. Spent childhood just running off my mouth, and now it's time. With a million options left, sometimes it's hard to see what's right. But I'm done fighting my own mind." Or, ooh, I have this one line that I love. It needs to go in a song. I haven't written the song yet. I only wrote this one line. It goes, "All Socrates can teach me is what I already know." Oh, I like that you guys like my voice. And I have one more line that I really like that I created just recently. It goes, "Looking at those lemon lips, wondering how many before me you've kissed, and I can't take you seriously. 'Cause boy, if I did, hope would devour me." And nah. That's all I got. That's all I've written. Oh wait. Oh no, I have one more. Okay. This one I wrote about Zeman, actually. Okay, it goes, "My ship's made of hubris. It got me kind of far, I guess. Made my way across oceans, didn't row. A pirate chasing pyrite. Guess I rushed to steal the limelight. Should have known And then, yeah, it's got a whole song behind it. But I love that line about a pirate chasing pyrite. Guess I rushed to steal the limelight, because pyrite is fake gold. So it's like a pirate who rushed to steal fake gold. Guess I rushed to steal the limelight, right? Because the limelight, being in the spotlight, is just, it's fake success. There's nothing really great about being like famous or whatever. It's more about the love that you find, and that's what that song's gonna be about. Anyway, my voice is like, but I really like writing lyrics, and so I would love to figure out how to actually produce it into a real song kind of thing. Okay. Do 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 do. Okay, and says, I get the feeling you would be quite loud and talkative in real life, completely opposite of me. I think that's funny that you say that, because every time I take that Myers-Briggs personality test, I get an INTJ. Every single time. I've gotten it 3 times. They call us the masterminds. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just because when you're on stage, you have to perform, and that's kind of what YouTube is, right? If you guys saw me in real life, let me just take off my performative face for you for a second. Oh, yeah, how's your day been? Cool. Awesome. This is like how my face stays most of the time when I'm not like YouTubing. It's an exhausting thing to YouTube. It takes a lot out of you. Again, I'm gonna plug Bo Burnham's special. I think he kind of shows what it's like to be in a room and just producing alone. But I watched that. Okay, a few weeks ago, I got invited to see Jimmy Fallon perform live. I was actually sitting just about this close away from him because I was right in the front row, like front and center. And it was so exhausting. He did all this talking and talking and talking. And at the end, I felt like I had done the video. It felt like making a YouTube video, because that's just what entertainment is like. You think it's this easy thing, but really it's just people who have to be on top of it. That's why I literally ate half a rotisserie chicken before filming this. I needed the energy. Also, don't take that as an endorsement of of carnivorism. I think we should all kind of be on vegetarians. We're probably on the wrong side of history. Damn, you guys, stop asking me to sing songs, because I will indulge myself. Amber is like, can you sing Baby It's Cold Outside? I actually love that song. Okay, I'll do it for a second. Okay, are you ready? Oh God, I wish I could actually sing. Okay. I really can't stay, oh, but baby, it's cold outside. I've got to go away, oh, but baby, it's cold outside. This evening has been hoping that you're so very nice. I'll hold your hands, they're just like ice. My father will start to beautiful. What's your hurry? That's a great song. Really hard to skirt. All right. Let's see what else is going on. Bucket Sniper asks Taylor, you gonna watch Mayweather versus Paul? Is that like Paul Logan? I don't know which Paul we're talking about. I'm not super into boxing. Pretty Janged asked, does Ivy University change everything? You should go watch my video about 5 years out of Harvard, what it's been like. Because I don't think it changes everything. I think if you're a determined person, you're gonna get what you want no matter what. You gotta get what you want. Get what you want. But I do think it makes life easier for you to get what you want. So there's that. Also, by the way, if you guys don't know this, 20% of Harvard's undergraduates are going there completely free. So if you do have financial situations that you think would prohibit you from going to an Ivy League school, just go and check their financial aid websites and make sure that that would actually be the case. Because a lot of people have these myths that these schools will cost a ton of money, but they actually work with you. And I just don't want anyone stopping themselves from getting what they want to go after because they think money is going to be too big of a factor. Okay. Mark M asks, sorry, your question disappeared, but he asked if I like dad bods or abs. I'm partial to abs. But you also love a good dad bod, right? I don't, it's more about your like essence and your soul, I think. And if you love a person, you love a person, and it doesn't matter if they have abs or a little bit of extra cushion for the pushing. Extra bit of muffin for the lovin'. Damn it, that wasn't a good rhyme. Yeah, I love you guys saying yes, sing girl. Do you read Instagram messages, by the way? Guys, I spend most of my time on YouTube. This is where I read the primary amount of my messages. Or Patreon too. I see all my like Patreon messages. Do, 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 do. Oh my gosh, Daniel Davis, socializing while being an INTJ is exhausting. I know, since I'm an INTJ as well. Love from Malaysia. Tell me about it. I love doing this video with you guys. It's so much fun, but you're right, it does take a lot out of you. But then again, during COVID, I kind of realized that if you have no human interaction, you kind of wilt like a flower, like in the wintertime. If I don't see anybody, I start going a little nuts. So I love doing these types of live videos, and like, as opposed to doing the ones where I record them, because I just feel so present. So maybe, I don't know, I will consider, somebody said book club earlier, I will consider the idea of doing a live book club, because that could actually be very fun and a very good incentive to get me to keep reading. Okay, and oh man, I've answered a lot of your questions, okay, and I'll answer one more. You said, are you religious at all? Not really, I'm agnostic. Shibi, how did you find it in you to exercise every single day? I love it. I love exercising. I mean, the ones that I don't love, like lifting, that's kind of hard, and I have to convince myself into it. But bouldering is so much fun. Soccer is so much fun. Tennis is so much fun. Like, I think we should be exercising 5 hours a day, honestly, and I think it's a little screwy how much we have to sit down every day. Also, by the way, time-wise, guys, I'm probably only going to stay on this till 1 o'clock. So we got like 18 more minutes, but just heads up, heads up. Bucket Sniper, does Dartmouth College get bullied amongst the Ivies? LOL. No, that's Cornell. Cornell, unfortunately, gets the short end of the stick. Although I do love all my Cornell friends deeply. Deeksha, drop that skincare routine, Taylor! I eat lots of blueberries, which are great for your skin, terrible for your teeth. They're like, you guys see this stuff? No, you don't. Go watch some of my old videos. That stuff stains my teeth like nobody's business. All right. Okay. Abdul Shakur Yaro says, based on your experience on your university's admissions, what do you think are the core reasons that differ between people so one gets accepted and one gets rejected? I think you need a baseline level of competence, right? So that means getting great grades, getting great like SAT, ACT scores and stuff. But then after that, so that's just so they don't like automatically throw your admissions, why am I forgetting the word right now? That's just so they don't throw your application in the trash automatically. And then to get the yes, I think you have to stand out. And what a lot of people forget is they think like, oh, I'm just going to show every great thing about me, which is great. You're a multifaceted human being with 1,000 million different faces. But that doesn't stick in the admissions officer's head because they're reading tens of thousands of these files. So if you're like, great, I'm fun, I'm funny, I'm intelligent, I'm cool, I do arts, I love SpongeBob, I play volleyball. If you say all of these things to them, they're not going to remember you. But if you have one thing you're really great at and you just keep emphasizing that, they're going to remember, oh, that's the girl who really freaking loves fondue, right? Because all your essays surrounded fondue, all your activities say you love cooking, right? You'll be fondue girl, they'll remember you. Do, do, do. Mark M, most girls like dad bod, that's why I asked. Do you ever get the feeling, guys, that like we're just kind of making up whatever we think about the opposite sex, like that we just kind of like to sometimes victimize ourselves, so like kind of unrelated, kind of a tangent, but I hear people say this all the time, like, oh, guys are so awful, like, there aren't enough of them in the city, and then you go and talk to the guys and they're like, oh, it's girls are so awful, and like there are way more guys on these dating apps. And do you ever feel like each side just wants to believe whatever like victimizes themselves more? I get that feeling a lot. I mean, I do think like sexism is very real. I think it does disadvantage women more, but I don't think I'm just biased. But I also do think that both sides like to victimize themselves a lot and just like clearly stay in the things that work against them actually getting the love that they're looking for. Feel free to disagree if you disagree, by the way. Debate me. Come at me, bruh. Arpita Singh says, what's your zodiac sign? I am a Capricorn, but I don't really believe in astrology. Everybody keeps asking me, do I watch anime? Or maybe that's just Maria Inez writing it lots of times. No, I don't watch anime. I used to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! GX as a kid, and I also used to watch Dragon Ball Z. I also used to love drawing pictures of anime characters when I was a kid. So that's about as much as I know of anime. And also there's that one like guy who's really great at doing these super realistic movies that are on anime. He's like super famous. I watched one where they're like, I think it's called Castle in the Sky. I watched that. That was good. I like that. I would watch more of that stuff. Eduardo Aguirre, how many languages do you speak? 1, 2, 3. You say 4 in German. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm just kidding. I only really speak English well, and then I can kind of speak French. So I'm trying to remember it. See, that I'm under pressure. J'ai peur. Donne-moi un moment et peut-être je peux dire quelque chose de worth, of value. I said, give me a moment, and then maybe I can speak something of worth. I forgot the word for worth. Oder, okay, now give me a second to get into German. Oh my God. See how difficult this is for me? Das ist sehr schwierig. Es ist nicht so einfach, Deutsch zu sprechen. See, this is very difficult. It is not so easy German to speak. that's the structure. Aber mein Ex-Freund war Deutsch, ist Deutsch, so ja, ich habe es gelernt. Ich habe es für ihn gelernt. But yeah, my ex-boyfriend was German, is German, yeah, so I had it for him learned. I had it for him learned. This is what it does to your brain. That's how, oh my God, the structure of languages is wild. Thank you, Akundamar. The word is valeur. Is it le or la? See, these things are so difficult. No pressure. Just speak 3 languages at the same time, Fine says. Oh, this one lit up. Is that when you... I don't really know how Super Chat works, but these ones... Oh, no. Okay. I think you guys just added my name. All right, let's see. So Julie says, that reminds you of how I found your channel. I think it was a video you did about studying in France as an exchange student or something like that. That was a good time. I would highly recommend everybody travel abroad and try to study abroad if they're able to. It blows your mind wide open, and it takes you through that existential crisis early in life so that you can see that everything we do is made up. Look at this. Gonna just deliver myself some more water. Also, this is not an endorsement of plastic. It's just I was out one day and I didn't have a water bottle, so I had to buy one to get water, and then I'm killing the environment, so I'm just reusing the plastic, even though people say that that's terrible. And for the planet, guys, do you guys feel like our planet's dying and there's nothing we can do about it? I shouldn't talk like that. I should be more optimistic. There's something we can do about it. There are 92 of us on here. You guys, let's freaking fix our planet. Yeah, and I'm gonna shout out the Bo Burnham special again because he did a great job at showing how hopeless one can feel in light of having all the information on the internet, but not knowing how to do anything to affect actual real change. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's a nice key major. They said, your advice has really helped me in college. You are amazing. Thank you so much. Lightning Dunker says, I'm gonna keep saying you're beautiful until you read this. Heart emoji. I read it. I read it. You guys, I'm reading what you write, so just keep throwing stuff at me. It's so fun to talk to like the YouTubers that you watch online, isn't it? And sometimes I'll write up some of my favorites. I've done that. I've written Damien from Damien and Joe. I haven't just written them either. I send them like video messages. That's a new thing now where I'll be like, hey Damien, I watch your videos. I'm a YouTuber too, blah, blah, blah. We should talk. I also wrote up Nathaniel Drew. He's really cool. Also, there's this guy, Brett Conti, who lives in New York. I matched with him on Hinge. I also matched with Mark Rebier on Hinge. If any of you guys know how crazy he is, it's why you meet so many YouTubers in this city through these dating apps. Alicia Murphy says, what's your favorite hot beverage? I would say hot chocolate. Yeah, I don't like coffee. I don't drink coffee at all. Sophia Chen says, how did you develop your critical thinking skills? I read a lot. I read all the time. And actually, one thing I try to do is I try to suspend my ego in arguments. So I try to say, okay, the truth is more important than me being right. And anytime I say something, I try to say, like, how accurate is that? Like if I say, all people do this, it's like, no, that's not accurate. All men do, no, that's not accurate. We need to keep rewinding and keep making our statements as accurate as possible. I think that's really something I value. I value trying to be as accurate as possible and precise as possible with my words. And through the habit of doing that millions, billions, trillions of times throughout my life, it's really helped me hone in on my critical thinking skills. Kaylee Hiley, yeah, hot chocolate drinker. I love hot chocolate. I love hot chocolate too. Mr. X, how do you remember what you read? Okay, I don't remember it all verbatim. And to be honest, if you guys asked me my favorite book, I would just like resort to saying Harry Potter, because most of the books that I read, there's like a Hemingway quote on this, I think it is, or like it's some famous writer who said, I can remember the books I read no more than I can remember what breakfast I ate, like, in the morning, but still they have made me, right? And I feel like that's so true. I don't remember everything I read, but still they're what make me as a human being. Louisa Bourbon, hey, what kind of books do you recommend / enjoy? I'm going to say this the third time. You guys need to read that book, Know My Name. Chanel Miller is an amazing writer. Amazing writer. I could not put that book down. I started crying from like the 7th page though, so trigger warning. Okay. Jinyaza Jade, I'm in 10th grade. How can I get into Harvard from India? Please reply. My best piece of advice is keep your grades up, keep your SATs and ACTs as high as you can do them. Did you guys know this, by the way, is that like Oh man, it's like 75% of people who get a perfect on the SAT get into Harvard, right? So like if you get a perfect on these tests, it doesn't guarantee you admissions by any means, but it's probably the closest thing to guarantee that you're going to have one of the best shots ever at getting in there. The second best thing you could do to guarantee you have a great shot at getting in there is to find my course. You'll find it in the description of any one of my academic videos. It'll tell you to like go to one of my essays. This is the second time I'm promoting it. It'll tell you to go to one of my essays. You'll click that, you'll put your email stuff in, you'll get an email about how to watch the course. And I'm telling you, it's good. I'm not making this up. I spent 6 months of my life working on this course. It's freaking fantastic. And trust me, if you watch it, if you do the things I say in there, you'll have a head up on the other students. Okay. Next. Hi, Def says the first best thing you can do is to have rich parents who can make a donation. LOL. That's sad and depressing. And also, they'd have to be really rich. Going up. Sophia Chen, how did you learn how to articulate your thoughts? I had so many writing prompts and essays growing up where you just have to write essay after essay after essay, and like anything with practice you get better at it, right? But I think the thing that ultimately made me good at writing and actually figuring out how to structure my thoughts is when I went to France, and and you have to write everything in French, obviously, you know. And I used to save my writing assignments to like 2 in the morning, but it turns out you can't really write that well in a foreign language at 2 in the morning without having an outline. And so then I got very used to doing outlines for my thoughts so that I wouldn't just be completely dead at the end of the night when I'm struggling for how to phrase something. And so that's what made me get really, really cozy with the idea of outlining things. And once I learned how to outline, I'm like, oh, this is basically everything. This is how you organized your thoughts. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So anyway, that's how I figured out how to articulate myself. But yeah, you got to use your skills so you don't lose them. I just burped also. Did you guys see that? I'm human. Quentin DeMar says, Je t'aime, by the way. Let's see back. Do, do, do. Okay, N says, do you value success in the guys that you date? I mean, what's success? I'm actually kind of turned off by guys who are super career minded. I look more for guys who like to think a lot, and I don't really care how much money they have as long as they have time time to hang out and a very smart mind behind them. Because what I would really like is somebody I could travel around the world with, live out of tents, read next to them, talk to them, and like, you know, just do our digital content. So there are women out there who don't care about your paycheck or the job you're doing. In fact, I actively kind of steer away from doctors, lawyers, and finance guys for that reason. They can't prioritize relationships in the way that I would like to prioritize mine. Arpita Singh says, I got bullied at school a lot for the way that I look. What should I do about it? Change. No, just kidding. Change everything about yourself. No, I think that the first thing you should do is realize that people who bully, that comes from a deep, deep, deep rooted place of insecurity. So you should try to first find what in them is like hurting, and you should try to empathize with that. The second thing you should try to do is you should try to tell yourself like what it is that you actually love about yourself and why you do the things that you do. And the third thing is when they're trying to bully you, don't let them. Like either let it slide off you or say something that like you're like if they're like, wow, okay, let's just imagine they say, wow, you're so ugly. You could be like, oh, well, I don't agree with that. And also didn't really want to hear that. And in the future, I would appreciate it if you didn't bring those comments to me. And if they keep doing it, well, then you try and get yourself as far away from them as possible. Um, you tell somebody about it. You could, I mean, you can also diffuse stuff with comedy a lot of the times if you can do it well, but that's not always a great approach. Or what other options do we have if somebody's bullying you? Because people used to, I think, try to bully me when I was in middle school, because I used to be a weird ass kid, right? I really didn't understand what was going on about the world around me. And and people used to try and bully me, and it would just go over my head because I wouldn't understand like that they were bullying me. And so I when it went over my head, I think I just had a reaction that showed them they weren't getting to me because they weren't, because it didn't even compute. And so sometimes if you don't show other people that they're letting them get to you, they get bored and they just walk away. So you either let them get bored, you say something funny to diffuse the situation, you tell someone else so that they're desensitized away from doing it to you, or you confront them so that they actually have to realize what it is that they're doing and how it hurts you. But okay, let's jump back into that plastic surgery thing that I was talking about earlier, because it has come to my attention that a lot of people like do a lot of stuff to their faces and bodies in order to like fit in more socially with what the standard beauty norm is. And I still haven't come to a conclusion on what I think about this all yet. But I do think there's something very sad about the idea that we would want to go in and physically change something about ourselves because other people have told us there's a better version of us. Um, I think there's something sad to that, but also I feel like I bought in a little bit to the idea of American like perfectionism and trying to make everything like very nice, very beautiful, very whatever, symmetrical, blah blah blah. Um, I haven't figured out my mind on that, because is it not like I put on makeup today for you guys? Why'd I do that? Why didn't I just put a bun on my head and like just come with a full on fresh face? My teeth, my teeth are all perfect because I got, braces as a kid, but it's like, I mean, and that fixes your bite, right? But it's like at the end, they shaved down these two teeth without even asking me. They shaved them down because apparently it made it more aesthetically pleasing. And it's like, well, why did it need that? Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's past 1 p.m., but I kind of still like talking to you guys. And if you guys still like talking to me, well, then why don't we just continue? You guys into that? Say yeah if you're into that. Everybody's gonna be like, nah. Nah, not really into that. Okay, Paul Davila Garfias says, have you been to England? I have. I've been to London a few times, but that's it. I love London. It's kind of like everyone put an accent on the Brits. And it's like, not the kids too. It's like you like changed a TV station and suddenly everyone's speaking with an accent. Oh man, actually, oh god. I love accents so much though. Like every type of accent, that when I'm watching the TV and somebody has an accent and it comes up, I'll start imitating them. Sometimes it can seem offensive, but it's just my way of wanting to play around with like the way other people say their words. I kind of want to attempt an accent, but it's really hard when you're doing it without somebody saying something first. Okay, should I do it? Somebody tell me if they want to see me do an accent or no. Nobody wants to see it? Nobody wants to see it? Okay. Okay, then I guess I won't. Oh, someone said do some accents. All right, I'll do it. You guys twisted my arm. Let's see. I'm just gonna oh god, this is so embarrassing. Okay, I'm just gonna start saying something and I'm gonna go with whatever accent comes out of my mouth, okay, guys? I can't do it. Okay, I'm gonna say, meet me at the bar. Meet me at the bar. Meet me at the bar. I'm just trying to get you to meet me at the bar. I don't know. It's easier when you watch other people say stuff. I'm being quite honest. Not me, not Hermione, you. I can't do it. I'm so embarrassed. I'm beyond embarrassed. Okay, this is why I edit my videos. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, assorted pastries. Thank you for getting me out of this with another question. Said, what is the thing you miss doing because of COVID-19? Uh, Interacting with humans, honestly. And interacting them in big spaces. Like yesterday, I went out to this place in Brooklyn where everybody, was kind of hipster dancing, whatever. But it's like, whoa, I'm like, this is the first time I've been in a group setting with like 100 people where we can just dance around each other and like bump into each other if we want with like out masks on. It was freaking great. Um, what's really interesting about COVID though is that it's the first time that we're really having to weigh this idea of survival versus thriving, and we're having to ask like how much is a human life worth, right? Like how much do we shut stuff down completely in order to save a life, right? Like what's the line? And they do this on airplanes actually, where they have to figure out like how safe an airplane should be and what's the value of a human life. And I think we kind of need to come to that kind of a conclusion for society when it comes to pandemics, because I don't think this will be the last one. So we need to know like how much we actually value a human life at, and at what point, like how many months we should shut down next time something like this happens, and at what point we go out in the real world again, and how much we account for like the corner cases of people who aren't doing well. And it's a completely bizarre and morbid thing to have to think about, but it's like what a fascinating, what a fascinating problem that we'll need to solve in the future. Yeah. And this has been my TED Talk. Okay. Since you like to travel, don't you think consulting is perfect for that? I think a lot of things are perfect for travel, like just traveling straight up, right? Like, I think consulting's all right, but you don't really get to pick and choose where you want to go when you're consulting. Also, mostly you're probably just seeing the inside of like conference rooms and hotel rooms. So it's like, why not just find a way to make my money a little more passively or a little more by my own terms and then just travel? Because you need to like the lifestyle you're living too, right? You can't just like the perks of the job that you have. You need to like the actual job on a day-to-day basis. You need to like your life on a day-to-day basis. Not all the time, not like all the time, because we don't love everything, but you do need to like waking up during the work week. And I don't think consulting is really that for me. Although I do like helping people. Like I did consulting with Ivy League admissions, and it is fun, helping people out and talking to them. But yeah, I don't know. Just not my thing. Maybe environmental consulting one day, who knows? What I'm really interested in is the breaking down of capitalism right now. Like, capitalism's great, but I think it's failing us in so many ways. And I think not the breaking down of capitalism, the relatively unregulated capitalism we have right now is, I think, at the base of a lot of problems in modern day society. And I think if we solve that, we can solve like a lot of things. And so I'm more curious in tackling that problem and figuring out where I should inject myself in that problem. Okay, someone says 23 knows all. Can you ban that racist, please? High Def asked, and they said, how did you make yourself more black when you applied to Harvard? I mean, have they said more stuff other than that? I don't know. It's kind of a sucky comment, but it's not totally racist, so I'm gonna let that microaggression slide. And wow, if that isn't a metaphor for life, isn't that a sad, sad metaphor? But I can't figure out exactly where freedom of expression stops and cancel culture ends, or it starts or stops and ends. You can tell I'm getting tired. Do. Okay, N says, do you ever relate to black people? Do you consider yourself black as well? Yeah, I'm a fourth black, so I consider myself, black, part black mixed. Do I ever relate to black people? Yeah. So I actually have this video for a YouTube video I want to do, which is this quadrant of, white man, white woman, black woman, and the different privileges we have. And it just has never made sense to me, the white women who can't understand the plight of the black men and the black men who can't understand the plight of the white women, because we're both systemically oppressed in different ways. And so for me, I like to look at this quadrant and figure out how can we get all four of those to raise up and all get the same level of privilege as like the white man. But some people, I think, look at this quadrant and say like, okay, I have my little bit of privilege here, so I'm just going to, take that privilege and run with it. Or they're like, I have my little bit of privilege here, so I'm going to take that and run with it. And I think that's never made sense to me, because if you're suffering from being like a minority or being oppressed in some way, you should understand how other people have it bad, right? And so, being a woman, I see sexist things in my everyday, and so it's hard for me not to relate to people who also have like racial problems, because it's like maybe I don't see those racial issues as much, but I do understand what it feels like to get hit with things you just don't deserve because of something you were born with, right? And so that's yeah. So I can relate in my own way, but not in a perfect way. Okay. Do-do-do-do-do. All right. I'm going to answer maybe three more questions and then get out of here. So if you guys have any questions, drop them real quick. Okay. Equinme Damar says, do you believe in friendship, or are people in interpersonal relationships either family members, partners, or acquaintances? No, I believe in friendship. I have friends who get close enough that I would share deep stuff from my life with. Deep stuff from my life with them with, yeah. Um, yeah. I think it's harder to establish deep, deep friendships later on in life in big cities sometimes, just because of the transient nature and just because it takes years to build up real friendships. But I do believe in them. Okay. Sophia Chen says, when you're online dating, how do you transition relations with matches that don't have a romantic future into a more platonic friendship? That's very easy for me. I just say that I really enjoy them as a human being. I think they're bright. I think they're fascinating. I think they're super cool. But then I just tell them that I think a spark is missing from taking it to that next level. And I say, like, if you still want to be friends, though, like, I would actually love that. Um, and then you just cliffhanger, and then you just see their response to that. Some people, like, it's too hard for them to try and be friends with somebody who they have a romantic inclination toward. So some people won't want to be your friend if you tell them that, and that's fine. Then you just let them go on their merry little way. But some people are totally cool transitioning, and then you just, you said your piece, and then if they accept it, then you guys go and be friends. And I've had that happen with about 2 or 3 people in New York now, so it works. All right, let's see if there's a good last question. Dang, you guys are getting into some crazy stuff in the comments. All right. Do, 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 do. You guys are writing a lot of stuff. Oh, sorry, I just like stopped speaking. I like forgot I was on camera for a second. I was like, all right, I'm looking for one more comment that I want to end stuff off on. Anybody? Anybody? Any last takers? $50, $50. We're going for $50. Let's end on this one from Assorted Pastries. They said, what are your thoughts on establishing a relationship with a close friend rather than someone new? I don't do it. That's not to say that it can't be done, but I just know, I don't know. I feel like you get a little romantic inkling for someone very early on. And so I would rather be romantic and then turn that into a friendship than vice versa. And it's also because I love that romantic notion of like, oh, I just knew as soon as I met them that they were the person I wanted to be with. And I think everything in life is kind of a story. And so I would love to write the ultimate love story with the person of my dreams. And that starts out with a great initial spark that turns into like the greatest friendship, relationship, lovership that could ever exist. So, yeah, I'll end it on that note. All right. It has been very, 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 very fun talking to you guys. And I hope you really enjoyed this too. It's been like a little party in here. Yeah, and maybe I'll do more of these in the future. I'll think about it. I'll think about some book clubs. All right. I'll see you guys. Bye.